The individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural, metaphysical, paranormal. You know, all those things you've been wondering about? Are you ready to go deeper into the realms of the unknown? I hope you've got your walking shoes on, because life is an adventure, and this is the journey. Come on, let's go. Hello and welcome to the show, everyone. It's Wednesday night, and this is the Journey Radio Show. We are always showing up as the She-Squatchers. I'm your host, Jen Cruz, and I've got my trusty teammates with me. I've got Jenna Grover.
Hello, hello, hello.
And Tammy Trikel.
Hi, everybody.
And we're all here tonight, and we are it. We're the guest. And we of course have our wonderful producer Sarge here with us, and I tried to ask him if he was ready for the questions, but he didn't even answer. So I guess it's just us. And hello to everybody in the chat room. Everybody saying hi to you as well, Jenna. That I know you're not in there, but
oh, hey
everybody. So we thought we'd come tonight, and we've been uploading videos since last week, and they were mainly from mine and Jenna's cameras from the expedition from the one day that we went out during the day expedition as a large group. And so there's lots there to watch. I uploaded a lot of them. I didn't skip very many because I was trying to pick and choose, and I remembered that people really like to watch the videos of us walking through the woods to see if they can spot anything that we missed back there. And so I uploaded a lot of them, and I said, hey, here they are, so you can feel like you're coming along with us and see what it's like. And yeah, if you spot something in the back, let us know. Let us know. Those are all uploaded on our YouTube channel at She-Squatchers Official. And that's just from one small outing in the woods, and there's so much more to upload from that time out in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan. So a little bit about what we uploaded was we had separated into two groups, large groups of investigators, which I think was pretty cool. We had remote viewed the area, and they didn't give us really specific coordinates to look at, so it was just like a big general area, and it just happened that this one area popped out. It was unusual to me because this particular forest didn't have any waterways in it, which normally we're finding that we see Bigfoot in areas that there's water, at least a creek or some kind of water access. And there wasn't necessarily anything in there that I could tell by the maps. There was, I think, a creek to the north, just across a small roadway. So it's not like there was no water at all. There was some up there, but it wasn't like real close. Anyway, so this wasn't normally a spot that I would pick, but it just popped right out at me, and there it was. So that's what we decided to go look at. When we descended into the woods into two groups, Jenna and I were in one group, and Tammy ended up on the other group on the other side of the forest. And so we weren't all together, but it made for more interesting stories from both sides of that. So when we went through on our side, we split up about 50 to 100 feet apart in the beginning, and I think that space got larger as time went on. Jenna and I ended up staying together because we always do. And then when we came back out, because we made it to the other side, and then we walked around and came back to the truck and met everybody back up at the truck, and Rob Kreider was on our team, and he had said about the 70 to 80 tree breaks and red flags that he had seen in the woods, and he was explaining what they were, and he says, well, come on, we'll find some and show them to you. So we walked back down the road, and he found new ones that he hadn't seen yet, and so we followed these red flags into the woods and followed this trail that he was tracking. And, he's a tracker, and he was tracking what he would call Bigfoot sign with these tree breaks. So he was looking up, not down, which I thought was very unique. And he was very kind to show us the insight to how he does that. So we've got that on video. Sometimes when he's not facing the camera, it's hard to hear him. So you got to really turn up the volume and listen hard. But there's a lot there where he's explaining. So we've uploaded those videos to our YouTube channel. So, and we're here to talk about that kind of thing. So I know Tammy wasn't on our team. She wasn't with us on that side when we did that. And I know she's been able to watch those videos since they've been uploaded. So Tammy, what are your thoughts on that?
First of all, I want to say that Rob is freaking amazing. That man
I would have to second that.
Yeah, he is a wealth of knowledge. I know when I was watching the videos, he actually went through and showed that to me later on when we were out in the woods on a different day. I think it was a different day, or maybe it was the same day, but not the same expedition. So I was aware of some of the things, and his knowledge is just incredible on how he tracks things. I've also been tracking, and I've been learning, for a very long time. My husband was Native American and showed me a lot of the tracks and taught me a lot of those things. So I already knew a lot of the tracks. But being with Rob, he's showing me hand impressions on the ground and how he sees one, and then he's like, okay, so when you see this footprint, it's not just one footprint. People are only looking at that one footprint. He's like, don't move from that spot until you see where the next one goes. It may not be a full footprint. It may be just some dead moss, because when they stepped on the moss, it destroyed it and it killed it, and there's dead moss there. It may just be some pressed down weeds. He's like, you have to stay where you are and look from there, and then you will find the next one and the next one and the next one, and then you will find out where they go. Him just sharing that with me, I was able to find on a different day a pathway at a different part of the woods, which I was very surprised that we were not remote viewing that area. Once we got back there, I was like, there is so much stuff here. Why did they not have us remote view here? But anyway, I was able to find a pathway that they use a lot and for a very long time. And I found some structures, and I followed them through the woods. It was amazing. And I was just so grateful for Rob sharing his knowledge with me, because it just improved my skills as a tracker by like 200%. Now, learning to not just look at the ground and look up and look around and see the signs elsewhere, it was amazing. It was awesome. I was so happy for that. So that part of the videos was so amazing to me. I was so glad that he shared that with everybody, because some people don't want to share their ways and don't want to share their knowledge with other people. But Rob is not like that, and Adam Davies is not like that, and none of the people that we were with on this expedition are like that. We all shared our knowledge together, and it was an amazing experience.
That's absolutely correct. Some of these people have been on TV, have had their own shows, and all of that. And you didn't once hear somebody say, "You don't know who I am." Right? It was nothing like that.
At all.
It wasn't like that at all, which was awesome. There was no big egos there. Everybody was just there collaborating with each other and sharing equally with each other. And that was just an amazing time. That was my favorite part about the whole thing, was that everybody got along so well and shared equally. So that was amazing.
Definitely. I hope that we can do it again next year. I hope that we can do it so that we can stay for the entire expedition. And I hope that it's the same people that go back out there.
Yes, me too. I did hear that we were also invited to the 168, Carrie Arnold's 168. And we got to meet Carrie Arnold in Tennessee. He was just there. Remember the big tall guy?
Mm-hmm. Hard to forget.
Hard to forget. We are invited to go to the 168, which a lot of people are excited about and have to apply to go and get selected. But we've been invited to go. So whenever that is, we need to look into that more. It's a 168-hour expedition.
Heck yeah, man. I'm all in.
Yes, yes. So I see that Sherry is in the chat room and she's asking, are there any good top track signs for Bigfoot?
Good top track. Top like in the tree, or what are we talking about top? Top of what?
I don't know. That was the question.
Okay.
So
If you could
answer however
expand
you
on
please.
that, Sherry, we'd be happy to answer your question.
Yes, yes. So, and I see there's quite a few people in there. So welcome everybody. We're open to your questions and we really love to have your questions tonight. So please ask away. So yeah, and Jenna, what was your favorite part about the expedition?
Absolutely everything. There is not one thing that we did out there that I am disappointed in. I mean, from the time we went out there until the time that we literally had to wake up and leave to get to the next place. It was just amazing. And each, like Tammy was saying, each individual person was so wonderful. They were real people. And I'm saying real because they weren't fake at all. Their personalities were exactly who we were getting when we met them, and they were just wonderful. And again, like Tammy said, it was a collaboration. It was working together to make something happen. And I think a lot of fun and important things have happened over that time too.
So Sherry expanded saying top tracks as in not ground signs in the tracking process.
Yeah, if you had watched the videos that we posted with Rob Kreider, he actually walks through and he shows you how they break the branches and where they break them as they go along. And depending on the height of the being, it was depending on how high up they were breaking the branches as well. And he could tell you if it was, this one's a year old and this one's a week old, depending on the deadness of the branch that they broke. It was so interesting to see because, when they broke it, they didn't just like squish it down and it broke. They like lifted it up to break it and then turned it over so that it didn't disconnect, but it definitely, you could tell that it was not something that nature did. So that was amazing to me because, I go out and you see broken branches all the time on trees, but that could be from snowfall, that could be from animals, that could be from whatever. But these, you could tell that it was not from an animal because animals don't break branches up and then turn them over. So that was a great sign and probably the favorite thing of the things in the trees that Rob showed us.
I really like the red flags. Now, let's explain a little bit more about the red flags because when he took us, and you can see it on that video, he talked about the red flags, and it was really obvious when he started pointing that out. So we were walking along the tree line, and he found one, and he said, and there will be another one shortly here. And sure enough, there was. He says, you can walk a really 45 minutes and not see another one. But there's two right here close together. And literally, it was that they reached up and they broke a branch and with leaves on it, and those leaves turned red. So
Now, didn't he also say that they were all about 10 feet tall? They were up in the trees about around 10 feet.
yeah, I don't quite remember
Not 10 feet
exactly,
tall,
but that's about how tall they were, I think.
Yeah.
well,
And
he said the branches were around 10 feet.
for the
That's
red
what
flags.
yeah, the flags.
So, and true enough, we walked around and didn't see any others like that. So that was really, really fascinating. And so he said, you enter right here between the two red flags and look for more sign. And he just tracked the tree breaks from there, from one tree to the next. You could literally see that was a trail. And it's not just a trail they used one time. There was tree breaks in there that were a year old and some that were a few weeks old and some that were new. So it was a trail that they had been taking over a period of time. And they were marking that was the space. And he felt that particular trail was the shortest distance between the little access road that we came in on and then the one on the other side, which was pretty cool. And we followed him through this with all those tree breaks to this little clearing in the pines. And I was like, look, Jenna, it's the little clearing in the pines that I said I saw Bigfoot hanging out at.
Yeah, you were
pretty cool.
excited. You were like, look.
We're in
That was
the clearing.
exciting.
Yeah, we're in the clearing. It took us right to the clearing. So yeah. Sherry says walking sticks are multi-use in squatching. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I guess I've never seen them with the walking stick. I mean, for myself, a walking stick would be useful because you can get the branches out of the way. You can get the dead branches knocked down so they don't get stuck in your hair. So yeah, I would definitely probably use one if there was any kind of an incline. Probably be helpful to help walk up the hills and stuff. But I also want to talk about Adam Davies because you guys weren't there for that part, but I was with Adam Davies.
I want to hear all about that. Adam
Oh my
Davies
goodness.
rocks.
He does. He is another amazing tracker. Oh my gosh. And he has done so many things like paranormal stuff. He's like an adventurer. He's not just a Bigfoot researcher. He's an adventurer. And I so admire that because that is like my spirit. If he was an animal, Adam Davies would be my spirit animal.
He would love to hear that. That should be a statement. You need to send him that. You're my spirit animal,
You're my spirit
Adam.
animal, Adam Davies. No, but he was amazing.
I want
too.
Adam as my spirit animal.
That's funny.
Adam, will you be our spirit animal?
Well, if you guys get him, Adam, will you be mine too? I want a spiritual animal.
No, but he was great. You know, I'm trying to remember everybody that was in our party because you guys had Dave and Blake started out with you guys. We had Jason Kenzie, Adam Davies, Gwen, and I think it was it Chad that was with us? I think
Chad wasn't there yet.
Somebody was with, I don't know who drove us over there.
Was it James?
Wasn't James with Blake? Pretty sure James was with Blake. But it was somebody drove us over there, and I can't get it in my head who drove us there. So I apologize to whoever it was. I thought it was Chad. Chad wasn't there?
Chad wasn't there yet.
Anyway, whoever drove us, thank you. But it was amazing for us because we had Jason Kenzie, first of all, and you know him with his camera equipment and doing the slow motion and catching some good shots and things like that. That was adventure. But Adam also, you know, was helping me with tracking and everything. And we were walking along, and you know, we got to a really sandy area, and we were walking along the sandy area, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, yep, there's a wolf. Oh, yep, you know, there's a coyote, there's deer, there's turkey, there's a bird, and I'm like, oh, there's a bear, you know. And he's like, you really do know what you're doing. I'm like, was there a doubt? But he's like, no, seriously, you know what you're doing. And if I ever need a second tracker, he's like, I would not hesitate at all to call you. And I'm like, call me. I will be right there.
Wow.
Yes, he was amazing.
Very cool.
So that, you know, that made me feel very good that he would say such a thing. But yeah, we were walking around, and you know, he would take one side and I would take another. So we were covering both sides at the same time, and we went through a lot of different areas. When we were in the woods, we were in the woods for a good long time before we ever met up with you guys. But you know, we found a couple areas. We didn't really see a lot of red flags, but I did find, first of all, when we were just about done in one direction, we were turning around and head back because we were going to go down a different road. I all of a sudden smelled that, I guess I would say that it was Bigfoot because it smelled earthy and fishy, but there was no water around there. Like you were just saying, there wasn't water really close by. And that was the first thing I smelled, but the temperature dropped a little bit too. It was like a little cool whoosh of air, you know, and then I smelled that. I was like, huh. And then as we were walking along, then that's when I looked underneath the bushes on the side of the path, and 2 toadstools had been broken off and flipped upside down right next to each other. And I actually have pictures of it, and I'm pretty sure I got it on the GoPro, but if not, I definitely took pictures of that with my phone. So that happened. And just a lot of camaraderie and, you know, going and through, and we met up with Blake and James in the woods while we were out there, you know, and then so they were with us for a little while before they kept back off again. And we were just kept walking and looking and finding signs of lots of other things and interesting things. You know, we found another X in the woods, and you know, we were back there looking at that, and some tree bends, lots and lots of tree bends. But for the most part, the things, you know, that we found were just like circumstantial evidence back there. But when we went to the other part afterwards, when you were in the house resting, I think, and Jenna and I went running outside because we heard they were going back to the back trails, and we went out there and they were casting footprints, and we got to be part of that. And Jason Kenzie actually found a structure. He was playing with his GoPro camera, and he was running through the woods trying to get some footage, and he like tripped and he came right into a great big X. And behind this X, there was a structure. And so he, wanted to show us that. And it was probably the next day that we did that. But all of the days just kind of melded together. We had so much fun with everything. But yeah, back in that area of the woods where we were, where Jason found that, that's where I found that path. That's where I found all those other structures. And a little bit farther over in that same area was where they had their big experience after we all left. So I was like, as I was walking back there, I was looking around like, why were we not remote viewing this area? It's all right here. So I really want to go back, and I want to remote view that area, and I want to go back there and find all these things and expand the search even more. And I'm just so excited. I want to go back right now.
It was that amazing. I think all of us feel that way.
Yeah.
Definitely. And okay, so you've been back to the spot where Jason and Blake had their encounter? You were back there, Tammy?
No, I did not go back. I was out there when we first put the cameras out, but I don't know if they moved the cameras to a different location. Jenna and I were out there when we were along, what is that thing called, Jenna? Where they have all the power lines, and it's the space between the two woods where the power lines are. That's where they had put a couple of cameras, and that's where Rob was showing me the handprints in the ground along with the footprints and everything.
That was cool. And we do have that on video. We've got you guys on video. I actually went through some of the GoPro film last night too, and I was so excited. I've got some great footage of you, Tammy.
Awesome.
I know.
And I'm the one uploading all those things to YouTube. And so it's hard for me to be looking at the video when I wasn't there. So I'm not understanding what order they're in.
Right.
Because I like to do them in order so people can feel like they're coming along and everything's progressing in the order in which it did. And I'm like, I'm not sure of the order of these.
Actually, the GoPro are all set up in order. So if you ever want to, you can go check those.
Okay. Well, I will check them. And, they're not up on our YouTube channel yet, but I'll be working on it. Anybody who's ever uploaded videos to YouTube, it takes a while to do that. Uploading is slow. So downloading is fast, uploading is slow. But yeah. But we'll be adding to those videos from the Michigan Upper Peninsula expedition. And you can all come check all those out and see what we all experienced and the awesome place up there. So yeah, hopefully I've been getting some comments on the YouTube channel that people have been thanking us for taking them along with us on the journey by uploading those videos. So yeah, and there was one lady who thought she saw something, and I went back and looked, and it did look like something, but when I cast it onto my big TV, then it was a lot more clear that it was really just a stump. But when I was looking at it on my phone, I'm like, oh, that does look like something. And I kind of got excited, and then I cast it onto my TV, and I was like, oh no, it's just a stump. But you get excited, and it's very possible that somebody could spot something in the video that we missed. So
Definitely.
So yeah, so thanks for helping us out, everybody who's doing that. And while I'm looking at it, behind me, I know the people on radio can't see it, but behind me is a She-Squatchers logo that our good friend Eric made for us. And so I want to just point it out to everybody who can see us on the video. Thank you, Eric, for making us that awesome logo.
And what's Eric's last name?
He's the guy who invented TeslaCon.
So, oh my goodness, I want to go to that. You guys
do too.
Look up TeslaCon because you'll want to go too.
TeslaCon.
It's not about the Tesla car, I promise.
Yes. So Sherry is asking about She-Squatchers swag. Tammy.
Okay, well, that would also be AKA merchandise, merch. We have new designs on t-shirts. We have been working with a new printer, and he has been amazing and helping us out a lot. And his stuff is so hot, it sells out at the events. We have to keep reordering after each event because it sells out. So definitely be on the lookout for that. I am trying to talk Jen and Jenna into letting me either add on to our website with a link to sell shirts or find some way to have a store for our stuff so that you guys can order our merchandise online and not have to go to an event to get it. So we're still working on the details with that. I'm going to concentrate more on that this fall after we're done running around the country. And we'll see what we can get worked out there. But I definitely would like for you guys to be able to order stuff online. And not only do we have shirts, we also have stickers and we have keychains. And we're thinking about adding a few other things like hats and whatnot. We'll probably add slowly to the collection, and see what sells and test out the waters, and whatever you guys like the best is what we'll keep. So definitely stay tuned for that.
The keychains we got sold out immediately.
Yes. And so did almost all of our shirts. It was like within 2 hours of the last event that we were at, we were out of all of our new shirts. It did not last long. So you guys are going to love it. We have one that's a glow in the dark shirt, which is amazing. It says She-Squatchers on the back, and on the front it says Bigfoot bait.
It is so cool, and everybody loves the fact that it glows in the dark. That's the one that sold out like especially fast.
Yes. And I have them printing out more now, so no worries. We're gonna get them in tank top and t-shirts. And fall is coming, so we're gonna be getting some hoodies and some long sleeve stuff back out too. So if you guys are gonna be at any of our events from this point through the end of the year, we'll have hoodies and long sleeve stuff too for you. So for sure.
We've got an event next month. It's September 17th and 18th. We're going to be at the WNC Bigfoot Festival in Marion, North Carolina. And there's going to be 20 to 40,000 people there, I guess. So that's going to be insane. I'm really super excited about that. I got some messages today from some of the awesome people in Washington State about the Yakima Valley Bigfoot Con. And because of the COVID spiking up there, they're discussing whether or not they're going to have it or not. So we should know soon. And that event was scheduled for October. So we were supposed to be there last year, but because of COVID, it got pushed to this year. And so we'll see if we're actually going to do it this year or not. We'll find out soon and let you know.
Now, did we ever hear anything about the one in Ocean Shores, Washington? Are they doing one this year?
I have not heard about that yet either. And I think it's the same kind of a situation where,
yeah, because they were like one of the first places that spiked when this all started.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. It's understandable that they would want to wait.
Yeah. So I haven't heard anything about that. That's always in November. So I don't know if they haven't made up their mind yet or not. I'll get a hold of Johnny on that and see.
Okay.
So, yeah. So other than that, it sounds like we're winding down for the year as far as travels, which is okay with me because we had enough this summer. We were crazily traveling.
Yeah, 3 events in July alone. That was a lot.
Yes, there was. And then Jenna and I did one in Minnesota that Tammy didn't get to. So there was like every week for us, there was a place to be.
Yeah, it started in June in Virginia.
Yes. And then we went to North Carolina for an expedition and to visit the Cryptozoology and Paranormal Museum in Littleton, North Carolina, which I highly recommend going to check that out. That's a nice little museum, and the guy who runs it is just an amazing guy full of knowledge and information.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As a quaint little town, I'm sure you can find a bed and breakfast. If not, there was this awesome camp that we stayed at. Yeah. It was like, reminiscent of like Dirty Dancing style. It had these little cabins, it had the water, it had all these events, great big decks and things like that. They had boats that they rented out, so that was really cool. And if that doesn't work out, they have hotels like 20 minutes away from there. So
Yes, they do. They do. And with that, we are going to go to our break. So stay tuned and we'll be right back with more stories from our expedition. All right. Here we go,
There.
girls.
it's going quickly.
It is. So Sherry's in the chat room asking if the subscribers count competition is still on. So we're going to have to answer that when we come back from
Yes,
our
yes.
break.
I can't wait until that is done, so we don't have to keep
The
telling
sad
people
thing
about it.
is if we don't go to Washington in October, it's probably
it's
not
not
going to
done.
end.
Oh no! Just can we fly to meet the guy?
So we can say it's done now. We have to have the event. Come on now, people.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny.
Oh my goodness. Wouldn't that be something?
The never-ending competition.
I know. He still thinks he's going to win.
He
That's
does.
crazy. He hasn't even been ahead of us at all, has he?
Actually,
Not for a while, but he has been starting to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, he did have a little bit more activity on his.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a foot. I got a foot. I also got a hand for my anklet.
Oh, I'm like,
for
don't
the
you have
shows.
2 feet?
I got a foot.
30.
I'm so excited.
30 seconds. Thank you, Sarge. This is my new little blue dress. It's got a silver ring right here. It's kind of cute.
It does look pretty. I like blue on you. It looks good. Oh, bra strap, Tammy. I forgot to tell you. There you are, darling. No, you didn't.
And welcome back to the show, everyone. This is the Journey Radio Show. And hey, we're the She-Squatchers. Won't you check us out online at she-squatchers.com? And there you can click on our events page and see where we've been and where we're planning to be for the rest of the year. And then please do go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Sherry's in the chat room asking if the YouTube subscribers count competition is still on. And yes, it is, Sherry. And the sad thing is that if they do cancel and reschedule the event in October in Washington, it's not going to end then either.
It'll
it
go
goes
on
until-
forever.
It goes until we see him again at an event out there. So we're really hoping we get to go to Washington in October. Oh, come on, let's go. Let's end this competition. And yeah, so please come subscribe to our YouTube channel and help us win that contest.
Yes.
I gotta say too, we've got a Facebook page and we're on Instagram. So She-Squatchers Official, come and subscribe, like, follow, whatever it is that you do on those pages, because that's where the most current up-to-date information will be shared. So back to the topic at hand. We were talking about the expedition that we did in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And Tammy and Jenna got to go and see some parts that I didn't get to because the original plan was that we were going to go back out after dark. So I took my medication that I needed to stay close to the cabin for. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we're going to the woods. I'm like, now? No. What about dark? So I want to hear more about that stuff, what you guys saw and what you experienced. And then Jenna and I had to leave earlier than Tammy left. So Tammy had extra experiences that we missed out on completely.
Yeah, actually, I was out in the woods until like 15 minutes before I had to leave to go to the airport. They had to practically make me go back to camp. They're like, come on, you got to go. You're going to miss your plane. So, yeah, that was amazing. But yeah, Jenna and I went out. They were, we got the call. They were outside and they all of a sudden decided, oh, we're going to go cast these prints. We cast these prints. We're going to go dig them up and take a look around and put out cameras. And they take off and Jenna's like, Tammy, they're leaving. I'm like, where are they going? So I had to scramble, get my shoes on, and I'm running, trying to catch up to them. And that was fun all by itself. But yeah, we were out there and Dominique was cutting the moss away from the prints that they had cast. And that was another thing that Rob, had shown. We decided that we should put some moss down in the container that he was trying to put the prints in so that they would be cushioned and would keep them from breaking. And that was really cool. What else, Jenna?
Oh my gosh, you're asking me, you put me on the spot. I was just thinking about the moss. I was thinking, wow, what a good idea. So yeah, I can't even think. Boy, we went all over back there. I just, here's something that I found really cool, and you kind of touched on it. Now, Robert Kreider, he was talking about the fist on the ground, how it's not just prints that they're finding. These are what do you call it? The fist
Knuckles.
print, the knuckle print.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I didn't even realize that part, that we should really be looking for the knuckle prints. It didn't dawn on me, because you think that you're only looking for Bigfoot. You're only looking for a Bigfoot. You know what I mean? So to find out that the knuckles, and that was so neat. And like I said, we've got it on tape, so hopefully we can see over your guys' shoulder and see the actual prints that he was talking about.
Right. I did notice that, it's kind of hard to see like the footprints and things on a regular picture that you take. I really think that, it's probably more beneficial, to videotape it, because you can change the angle, you can change the lighting so people can see it. Just even the ones that I took, I'm like, I can see it. I don't know if you can see it, and some people could see it and some people couldn't see it. So I think that definitely having more than one form of recording the evidence is definitely a good idea.
No, I agree. And videos are always best. Pictures just don't do it anymore. They don't cut it. They're not enough. Shadows and different things.
And people can say, oh yeah, it's photoshopped and all that stuff. But if you have video and you have more than one different type of media how you're recording it, then I think that it's definitely backs up your stuff a lot better. And a lot of us, we're using more than one thing to record. So that was fun. I really enjoyed watching Rob talk about, like the moss, how that it just, if something steps on it, that it dies there, and that you look for the dead parts of the moss. It's not necessarily a clear-cut footprint. You could just see an imprint of dead moss, and it's in the shape of a foot too, or the knuckles. Those people are so smart. We were so lucky to talk with them.
I was so jealous that you actually got to talk with them, because I was behind the camera. I was just trying to shut my face and get it all on, get it on camera so we could, share with people, because we want people to see what we're experiencing, what we're seeing, So I'm really jealous that you got to talk so much.
Well, you were there.
I know, with the camera. Take the cameras. No. That's great, though. But I got to listen to the conversation, and I'm sure you asked every question that I would have asked and more. So
possibly.
Yes.
And also, you learned from Jason Kinsey about how to use your phone better and to do the slow motion and all that stuff. And we were working with the videography with Jason Kinsey. That was really cool too while we were out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he showed us a few little tricks. I love the fact. Okay, he does these wonderful. What would you call them?
He does animal photo shoots. He's an extreme animal photographer.
There you go. Thank you. He is really talented at what he does. So he was showing us how to use the slow motion for the photography or the videos he was taking, and it looked so cool. He showed us with Robert Kreider, and he was walking through, and he just looked like it was like some kind of documentary on, Discovery.
It was awesome.
It was really cool.
We were such fangirls.
We were fangirls, but technically when we were out there, we were just with everybody. I mean, we were basically on the same level with everybody else. But yeah, we were fangirls inside, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. We definitely did our part, and we took part in all of the investigation, all of us.
Yes.
And, we shared knowledge with them on things that they didn't know on remote viewing and things like that. And, how we go about doing what we do. And they shared what they knew with us. I just think it's such a great collaboration. It's definitely one of the best experiences, most memorable experiences in a very long time for me.
Me too. I totally agree on that one. And I can't wait for the next one.
Right?
Why can't we just do it all the time?
That is what I said. I said that to Jenna when we were out in the field. I'm like, why can't we do this every day? And Robert Kreider said, he said, we could, if we got financial backing, and do a collaboration with all of us, and we could do this every day. We could get paid to do this. And I'm like, sign me up.
Right?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Me too.
Me three.
Where would we go? I mean, that would be the fun thing. Like, where would we go to start out? Like, where would we look?
Wherever they want us to.
There you go. That's for sure. That's for sure. I've been wondering, today I saw, and I don't mean to change the subject, it just popped in my head, but today I saw and shared on Facebook that the Otter Tail River in Becker County, Minnesota, has completely dried up. It's not flowing at all. And that's the really popular place where the tubing companies are, where they literally have bus loads of people that they take up the river to go tubing down the river. There is no water.
So you guys are like in this major drought in Minnesota?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
My ground is literally breaking apart, and you can see down probably about 5 inches. That's how dry it is here.
Ooh, what's it going to do to the crops?
I know,
They're
poor
dying.
farmers.
The price of bread is going up, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never seen it so bad. I've never seen the river dry up before, and I was really shocked when I saw that. But I've been seeing other people from like my reservation posting photographs of themselves standing in front of a lake where they usually do wild ricing, which would mean it's usually a more shallow lake, but there's no water in it.
Oh yeah, so there's not going to be any wild rice either.
Well, there still will be rice in not all the lakes are drying up, but the really, really shallow ones, they can't see any water in them. So yeah.
Wow.
But it makes me think about Bigfoot a little bit more too. Like, what's this doing to them? Because, in Minnesota, they really, really like the wetlands and the swamps and the bogs. And, if those areas are also experiencing drought, what's it doing to them? Are they moving? Or
Right.
what's the situation there? Let's speculate on that a little bit.
Well, Minnesota is the land of over 10,000 lakes, so I'm pretty sure they can find water, without having to travel too far.
True.
Well, that is true, but I think, like Jen said, I think they may have to travel, or you didn't say this, but they may have to travel, like with these dried up beds, these dried up rivers, these things that are drying up. They're used to being in that area, and all of a sudden their water source is gone, so they have to move.
Mm-hmm.
So I totally get that.
Yeah.
I mean, you think how much we use water for. I mean, there's fishing, their food supply,
Yeah. And I know one of the food sources that is a possible food source is water. The water lilies, the roots from the water lilies are edible. They don't taste very good. I'm just going to say that.
And the roots from the irises that are on the shore as well are edible.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're called flag iris that are along the shorelines there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But even the bog potatoes that are found underneath the floating bogs, and the different roots that are edible underneath the floating bogs, those were, I think, natural food sources.
Right. And not only for them, but for the animals that they also eat, like the deer and the moose and things like that. So yeah, I'm sure it's going to affect a lot of the ecology. The ecosystem.
The ecosystem. Then I started thinking about the mushrooms. I mean, if there's not enough moisture, are the mushrooms growing? Because I'm sure that they probably eat the edible mushrooms as well. So, that just really, I was seeing people posting from the reservation that there weren't as many berries growing because of the drought. So some people are just not collecting berries this year. They're leaving them for the bears. So, which I think is
so
good.
Nice. Wow. Yeah. I appreciate these people. Thank you for doing that, whoever you are.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's definitely a good thing to live in harmony with the environment. And, knowing that we can purchase food at the store, we don't have to collect the berries for our own survival. We can leave that behind for the animals that do depend on that and require that for their sustainability. So, I think
Definitely
it's
too. You could also take, some of the food from your garden and, throw it out someplace for the wildlife to eat too. If they're struggling to find food, you know that when you plant a garden, you have way too much of everything. So you can definitely share with the wildlife.
yes. I know in my little plants, I have too many little tomatoes, but the squirrels have been having some of them.
Yeah.
Oh, are the squirrels getting you this year, Jen?
Well, I enjoyed being able to see one of the squirrels take one of my cherry tomatoes last year. I pulled up in the driveway and uh, a little squirrel ran up and grabbed one and sat on the little cement and ate it right there in front of me as I sat there watching. And I was like, well, at least I got to the enjoyment of watching you steal and eat it.
Right. Unlike me, who would find half-eaten beautiful tomatoes everywhere in my yard. I used to get so mad. I'd be like, "You little stinkers!" Oh,
They should
I
eat the whole thing.
swear. Huh?
They're going to steal it. They should eat the whole thing.
Right?
Right.
That would just, yeah, it drove me crazy. It was like, why did you take 4 or 5 bites and leave it? And
That's
they
what
were
the deer would
green.
do in my garden. They'd eat, a few bites out of the cucumbers, out of the squash, stuff like that. I'm like, really? I will give you some. How about you take these, the ones that you've already bitten off of, and you leave the rest for us to harvest.
Hmm. Oh, that's
That's
funny.
funny.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than going to pick your cucumber and see like half of it has bites out of it. It's just terrible. Look at this great big cucumber. Oh, sorry, I had a big problem with squirrels one year.
Well, and you should see the squirrel little habituation that she has developed outside of her house. She even made a little food station for them on the ground for them with a little bath. And
Hey, can't beat them.
That's right. Can't beat them,
Yeah.
feed them.
Yep. Well, and right now I do put water out for any animals, any, cats or dog, anybody who needs it. There's a nice big water jug for everybody. So yeah, it's kind of funny to see them eat their food and then step right next to the food to get the water, lean over, and then go back to the food again. It's just like these little piggies. I just love them. I don't love them, but I love them.
she loves them.
Like
Exactly. Exactly. And so I've been enjoying garden goodies from clients and people who donate them to me. So by all means, I'm in Fargo Moorhead. I take garden goodies.
I have not planted a garden this year. I have not even planted but like 3 plants since I've moved here. I just haven't wanted to undertake that whole, stripping the yard and killing off the grass and tilling the soil. And I'm just like, I got the rest of my life to do that. Right now, I'm just going to play in the sun and go to the beach and do lots of swimming and sun and stuff.
Well, not to mention that your daughter's big dog probably would have ripped it all up anyway.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. My daughter's dog is a black lab and a, Marmaduke, Great Dane mix. And he's huge. He's got a huge head and he's very not in control of his extremities. So when he runs,
no.
he like falls into stuff because he can't stop himself. And he likes to dig holes, which I do not like in my yard. But yeah, he's a big galoot.
But I bet he has a big heart. Yep.
Yes, he's very lovable. He looks at you like, don't be mad. So yeah,
Yes,
no.
he does.
He's a sweetie. He's just a pain in the butt.
So, Tammy, back to the expedition. I thought you said that you had found a trackway.
I did. That was after you guys left. Jason Kenzie had taken us back into the woods to show us where he had found that X and the little area that he had found where they had been staying and everything. And I was, we walked back there and we inspected it, and it was, we were trying to look in and see, was this tree fall? How did this X form? One of them was still a live tree that had just been bent over. And then the other one was a dead tree that they had actually taken out of the ground from someplace else. It wasn't from anywhere right around there, and placed it upside down to make the X. And then there was other ones, littler ones interwoven into it. So it's definitely made. And behind that, you could see lots and lots of tree bends everywhere. And we were looking and we were wandering around, and he was showing us the places that he had found and everything. And I was tracking, using the skills that I had just learned from Rob, and, the stuff that I had learned from Adam Davies. And I was tracking and I was looking around, and I'm seeing, okay, there's a print. Oh, there's a print on a rock. I found a print on a huge rock because there was moss on the rock, and the footprint was dead moss. And I was like, look at that. So I found it, and I remember having conversations with Adam and Rob, and we were discussing the fact that, of course, they would take the path of least resistance. Why would you make things difficult for yourself to walk through the woods? So I kept that in mind while I was walking, and I saw this area, and I'm like, that looks like a tunnel, almost like a tunnel with the trees over the top and things. There were some trees across a couple areas, but for the most part, it looked like a pathway. And so I started looking and following it. And as I was walking along, I found a footprint, and then I found another footprint and another footprint. And I looked up from where I was looking, and it was like this big, long walkway. I'm like, oh my gosh, I found a path that they take and they travel. And so then from there, I stopped, and I was looking around, and I started seeing little structures over here and over there. And I found one that was like a living room. It was almost completely circled in with trees, and they were all bent over like this. It was probably only about 5.5 to 6 feet high, but inside was clean, and there was nothing inside of it. And it had one doorway. It was like this tunnel of tree bends led to this area. It was like a walkway to somebody's house. And I was like, this is freaking amazing. How could people not see that? That's when I was like, why were we not remote viewing this area? Look at this. Look at this. And Todd Parsons was back there, and his wife was back there. And I want to say James was back there. Jason was back there. That might have been it. Might have been Josh too. But yeah, we were just looking around there, and we were walking around that entire area, and I didn't want to come back. I dropped a pin and sent it to Jason and Rob and Adam. Like, this is where I found, this walkway, if you guys want to set up cameras. But I had to go, and I was not ready to go. I wanted to go back and look farther, because me, and I always want to see, what's down there, what's around that corner, what's around that bend. I just want to go a little bit farther. And finally they're like, Tammy, you got to go. You still got to walk back and you have to go to the airport. So you have to go. I was like, fine. So that's when I dropped the pin and sent it to everybody. I'm like, well, at least maybe they can find something with it, since I didn't get to spend any more time out there than I wanted to. So it was amazing. I loved it. I want to go back. I want to go back right now, but
it would definitely be cooler now, I think, up there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Because it seemed like it got colder the day that we left.
Yes, I think that was the first day that the weather broke, because when we were out there in the woods, it was so hot and muggy. Oh my gosh, it was so hot.
It was desperately hot. It's been hot here too. In Minnesota, North Dakota, it's been dreadful.
Yeah, it's been really hot here too, but we don't really have a drought going on though. We get plenty of storms coming up from the hurricanes and the tropical storms coming through here, so we're not in a drought, but it's definitely been hot this summer.
Definitely hot summer. But fall is coming quick. I'm excited for that. Fall is my favorite season. Look at everybody's like, uh-huh.
Well, summer is my favorite season, but I am kind of looking forward to fall, just because it'll drop the humidity, because it has been so humid. We've had temperatures in the 90s with a heat index of like 106, 110, like too hot to even be outside unless you're in the water. That's how hot it's been here.
Definitely too hot for me.
For
Unless
me,
I'm in the water.
it's too hot for me, and you know how much I love the heat.
Yes. And I could stay in the water all day. I literally could.
Yes, you and
So,
Raven. For the
yes.
water bugs.
Yes. Nobody has to fight of who has to be in the water with Raven. I'll do it.
Raven is my daughter, in case you didn't know, my 10-year-old daughter.
Yes. So when we went to the beach,
Hi,
when we were
Raven.
out there, I stayed in the water with her the entire time.
She did.
We swam like the fishes. So, yeah, there were no Bigfoots in the water, just saying.
But, you know, we had to check.
Of course. Yeah.
Bigfoot might not be at the beach, but shouldn't we check?
Well, there are places where Bigfoot's at the beach. I just don't think they're going to be at a public beach like that in the middle of the
Probably
day.
not. Probably not.
No. But, I've heard of places, coastal places, where they are at the beach in the evening and they're collecting food there. So,
Yeah, I've heard of in Oregon and Washington State that there have been sightings of them on the beach.
in Vancouver. So, it's definitely a possibility, even in California. So, there was a case that I heard about a lady who was visiting California, who went to the beach overlook at night to see if she could photograph anything, and she wasn't looking for Bigfoot, but there were Bigfoots there pulling seaweed out of the ocean and bringing it to shore. So that was interesting. So yeah, very interesting stuff. So we're coming to the end of the show. We've got like 3 minutes left or less. Tammy, your final thoughts.
Well, can I just real quick? There's a little girl who goes to my kickboxing class who has become one of our new biggest fans. So I just want to say hi, Hadley. Now you're YouTube famous too.
Hi,
Hadley.
She's so
That's
sweet and so cute. I just want to say hi to her. My final thoughts. Great experience, great people, great connections that we made, such camaraderie, so much fun, so much laughing. It was such a great, great time. I can't wait to work with them again. Anywhere, Michigan, anywhere you guys want to go, you just let us know and we will be all in.
Sounds good to me. How about you, Jenna?
Yes. I totally agree with what Tammy said. Everything.
I have a requirement though. I want coordinates of specific locations to look at before we get there, because that was hard to do like on the spot really fast. So I think we would have had a lot more success had we had more time to look at those things. And we were on the road traveling so much in such a short period of time. So we would have needed that in advance quite a bit. So but I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and watching and listening to the show. And thanks again to Eric for making our special new logo. That is actually our cover photo on our Facebook page. So everybody can go check it out there. Very gifted guy. And he puts on a show called the TeslaCon in November. It is an all immersive steampunk event.
Victorian steampunk era type event. I can't wait. I want to go.
Immersive 4-day event. So you got to check it out.
Gowns, people.
Find me a gown. I want a bustier or whatever you call it. All right. Won't that be fun? All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.